Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon111, and I'm coming at you once again from the MinecraftBINGO 4.0 alpha test lobby, I suppose this is. And I wanted to show off some new stuff that I've been doing with Bingo and play a little practice game in order to try some things out. And yeah, actually the top row of this card, I don't love having the pumpkin seed there though. I want to do something that is going to involve an emerald to show off one of the things I want to do, but I want the emerald to otherwise be in a relatively easy row or column. And so let me find a corresponding card. Basically, I've made a number of updates where kind of the goal of the updates I'm making, that has a lot of iron, but that's definitely doable. And the gold is not so bad. The goal of the updates is to try to get rid of when you need to pull up F3 on the screen. And so I'll talk about those things in turn. I don't remember if I talked about the fact that there's now a chest over here that contains just the items that are on this card in this order. I can't remember if I showed that off before. In any case, let's start the game. I'm going to go for the middle column from the minecart chest to the hopper. So I'm going to need lots of iron and gold and an emerald. And we're going to try to find that emerald in an extreme hills for reasons. Unfortunately, this is like the worst possible spawn point ever. But yeah, let's show something about the spawn point. I think I want to head to that tree right there. About to drop yellow team out of the skybox. And so now rather than teleporting you down, it drops you down. And so you can kind of like keep track of where you're facing in the direction. So it's no more in the skybox looking and saying, okay, the tree I want to head for is to the west. And then when you teleport back down, like spinning around until you figure out when you're in the west. Now it gives you a little 2-second notification in the chat that it's about to drop you out of the skybox, and then it drops you out. And so when you get that notification, you can look at the thing you want to do, and then as you're falling, you can kind of like help keep your orientation is the idea of it without using F3. You may have already noticed some other things that are appearing on the action bar that were not there before. We have the Y coordinate of the player, because another reason that people often pull up F3 is when they're digging down to see if they've dug down far enough yet in order to get wherever they're going. And so that's just to look at the Y coordinate. I'm going to go ahead and grab an acacia sapling just to show that I have the leading white space thing still turned on so it doesn't cover up the card. A lot of people did not like the action bar being moved over right of center. And also with the new things I'm adding to it, even if I do move it over, like there's not enough space for the different things that I want to do. And so I've just moved the action bar back to the center. And so if you happen to get a few items in succession, then that might mean that the action bar is going to be covered up. But so be it. Alright, but I want to try to travel somewhere where there appears to be a decent size extreme hills. And then I can show off another feature. Oh, so one thing is there's a beacon at spawn that helps you locate spawn, and on the action bar there's also a little arrow, and that arrow points at the spawn point. And so if I'm looking at it, the arrow is pointing upwards, and otherwise it's pointing kind of, you know, back behind me, since that's where the spawn point is. And so that can be useful either if there were like chickens at your spawn point and you want to come back to them, or if you're in multiplayer and you went east and your friend went west and you guys each have like half of the ingredients for a particular recipe and you want to meet back up to put them together. Looks like there might be a decent extreme hills over there. And finally, just for orientation, if you want to make sure you're not going in circles, one way that you can do it is simply to ensure that it's always the case that the arrow is pointing down, kind of behind you, and that means you're always traveling even kind of further away from spawn. And so that is the idea that I had for kind of like a compassy kind of thing on the action bar. It has been suggested by some that just having absolute directional coordinates, like have NE or N or SE or SW for like north and northeast and south and southwest, that kind of stuff might be valuable. So that is another alternative way of doing things. So let me know if you feel strongly in the one way or the other, whether it'd be better to just have absolute coordinates or something that points back at spawn. It's kind of trade-offs on both. And then something you notice over here is the action bar just said XH in green. And so the other reason that I find that people typically have the F3 coordinates on the screen is to see if they're in extreme hills biome. And you can test for the biome that the player is in now. and it updates once a second, basically, an advancement that's testing for that. And so if I step out, you see XH goes away, and if I step back into the extreme hills, it comes back with just like about a 1 second lag. Yeah, and so rather than have your F3 coordinates up on the screen the whole time when you're trying to go digging for an emerald, the information's available to everyone. It just makes the screen really, really ugly when you pull up F3. So I decided, why not just go ahead and put that on the action bar? I don't think that feels too cheaty. Similarly with the Y coordinate, like I don't think it feels cheaty. I think it just feels like a convenience so that you don't have to have all of this ugly text up on the screen. And yeah, so I think I really like this idea. I forgot to get food. Let's hope I don't encounter many monsters, or I manage to stay alive, or find a dungeon with a bunch of wheat or bread or something. Yeah, and actually, if I happen to die, like, I've already kind of shown off the things I wanted to show off in this video, so maybe I should not even bother playing, and, well, I guess if I get into a cave underground, it'll be useful for then me to be able to test just how well I can easily see when I'm reaching the bounds of the extreme hills. Oh, I don't have enough wood to make the things I need either. I need 2 chests. All right, well, we're just going to hope that we manage to find the thing that we're looking for. A cave. Yeah, actually, if I want to test this out, I hadn't thought this through before I started making the video. I think probably the correct thing for me to do is to go ahead and make myself an iron pickaxe so that if I do find a cave, I can kind of like simulate caving and trying to keep track if we're staying in the extreme hills or not. Like you would in game, just to get a real feel for how valuable this is. But let me do this. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this up, and let's go into game mode spectator. And let's just see, are there any caves around here at all? Oh, interesting. When I'm in spectator mode, I can see this little armor stand who is here around me. Fascinating. That's part of how I'm doing the arrow that points to spawn. It looks like there's some kind of cavey-ish thing here. Oh, and there is an emerald here. Well, unfortunately, I already know that it's there. Let's do this. Let's just go back into creative mode so I don't have to worry about mobs. So basically, if I'd come into this ravine, let's suppose that I had somehow dug down and like come into this ravine over here, and I walked over to this end of the ravine, I'd say, oops, I've already left the extreme hills. I don't want to go this way. And then I'd come back in here, and now I'd be like, okay, now I'm in extreme hills. And yeah, then I would find my emerald. It's interesting. My understand... Oh, right, I'm in creative mode. My understanding is that emeralds can generate anywhere that the corner of the chunk is in extreme hills. So let's actually, since I'm not in extreme hills right now, but I am if I go over this way, there's a way to show chunk boundaries, isn't there? So here's extreme hills over here. Yeah, let me figure out how to show the chunk boundaries, and let's actually kind of test this theory out. Okay, F3Q shows help, and F3G shows chunk borders. And okay, so here is a chunk border, and so this one was just on the edge of this chunk. And let's see, and so here's the other edge of this chunk. And then I don't remember, it's probably like the lowest value of X and Z would be my guess. And so this way is higher values, this way is lower values of X, and this way is lower values of Z. So let's try to find the border of the chunk over this way and see if the corner is in extreme hills. Hope this makes sense. And then I wonder if I should update. This is extreme hills over here in the corner. So I think basically what it means is this entire chunk that I'm in right now, whose boundary is here on the right and over here on the left and somewhere just a few squares this way in front of me. Yeah, right here in front of me is a chunk that could contain an emerald because the corner of it is in an extreme hills. I think is how that algorithm goes, but I guess normally with F3 the player, if I did want to keep this modification where basically it tells you extreme hills in the action bar, would it be better for it to show you the same value that's in F3? Or would it be better for it to show whether or not the chunk you are currently in is capable of generating emeralds. What are your thoughts? One is the information that's available today in F3. The other is the actual information the player wants in the game. In this particular case, I do believe that emeralds are among the hardest items to get when caving. And so I wouldn't feel bad if we're making it slightly easier by telling the player if you're in an emerald chunk, as opposed to merely telling the player if you're currently in an extreme hills biome. But yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think. What you think about that option. Tell me what you think in general about the stuff that I have shown off in the game today. F3G will rehide those chunk borders. Yeah, and I guess that's enough for today. I've been spending a lot of time, like, I don't know, somewhere in the order of like 8 to 12 hours a day doing various programming. Most of it is for MinecraftBINGO, but some of it is I've also done, redone kind of the raycasting look teleporter thingy that I made back in 1.12 that was a very popular video. Raycasting kind of stuff in general is easier to do now because they've added some new command facing relative coordinates. And at some point, I'm sure I'll talk about that in kind of like a command-focused video. Yeah, but in any case, arrow pointing to spawn, action bar that tells you if you're in extreme hills biome, action bar that tells you your current Y coordinate, in addition to the usual action bar that just shows you the timer. And yeah, and I did it with various colors and different things. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about all of those as they relate to bingo. It's basically a lot of the stuff makes it kind of a little slightly less vanilla. And the reasoning I've been using is like the players have night vision the entire time. And that's not something you'd have in vanilla. Like in vanilla, if you're playing this as pure survival, you'd have to make torches in order to light up caves. But the fact that it is a time-based challenge means that if you don't give players night vision, then people just go caving in the dark and it makes for awful video. And so I'm willing to bend the rules of complete vanilla survival in order to make for better videos. And the other thing that makes videos really awful is having this screen up like this. And I could use different chat sizes and different things, text size, but this is the text size that I like for people being able to read things in videos overall. And it's just that the F3 screen has so much information, so much of which is useless. And so I'm trying to just condense down the information from the F3 screen that people really care about and put it on the action bar so everybody has that advantage and it doesn't clutter up the screen and stuff like that. All right, at this point, I'm totally rambling. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will also link, there is a Reddit thread that's just kind of like general Minecraft bingo suggestions for different game modes and different niceties like the action bar and things like that, where there's been a lot of useful feedback. And so I'll point you guys over there if you want to brainstorm and see other people's ideas as well. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for all the feedback, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.